Okay, we are at the um, Hibachi Bill. Hibachi Grill. Oh, there's John Root. um, this is. Oh, the floor is slippery there. Um, this is where the drummer's lunch is. See, look at all that food. And people will just be. I see people just getting here. Um, so this is where the drummer's lunch is. So this table will be where the drummers will be. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's plug in. Okay. Hope you're doing well. Let me grab this charger. You see it? Okay. In just a minute, start to talk with drummers who are here. Um, Trying to figure out the best place to sit and talk. Maybe they'll sit there. Sit there. See. All right. Well, we'll be back in just a minute. I'm gonna grab a little food.
I didn't know you'd be filming this eating.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna bring people there to talk, but I'm gonna grab a little food and then start. Maybe will you be first? No.
Or fourth. Wait a second. Good to see you. Tom. This is my friend Harrison. Ready to toast you. Awesome. I thought I'd bring him out and introduce you. Yeah. So I'm doing all I've got these. We're getting low on the man. Hey, what's it? How you doing? John. Did you hear Harrison? We've been talking to that. I got the live thing going. How you been, John? Good. Lovely to do something. Ironically, I did some USA tours and I found out this was actually a good bill find that my wife had last week. And I'm like, I have a USA jacket, but they're not this size. Yeah. Nice. She found this for 5 months in Goodwill. I'm like, oh, it works. I'll take that as a Christmas present. I'll grab some beer. Okay. And I think you should never choose. Okay. Water. Oh. Well, no. She was guard back in the day. Yeah, yeah, I'm a drummer. Mom. Sweet on. Sweet tea. Sweet. How are you? Good. How are you doing? Good. Good to see you. I did. I wish I was right-handed so I could do it with left-handed. Grab some pizza. They got pizza in the
fried rice on it, mashed potatoes and sushi.
I got a. Well, like I said, I have a severe seafood allergy. So, like I said,
Oh, they got pizza and mashed potatoes.
oh, I know, but like it's just cooked on the same grill. I don't worry about that today.
Yeah.
Plus, I've never had a good experience with hibachi ever. Never in my life.
We don't hear from the food.
Oh,
Right? We're here for free parking and a lot of expansion space.
there you go.
Hey, dude, I'm Joe. Joe. What's your last name, Joe? McCoy, good to meet you.
It's my wife, Gina.
Hi, Gina, John, good. Nice to meet
Are you
you.
the real McCoy? Hear that?
I get all.
Oh, no way.
During one of my visits this summer, I met other drummers speech and information, putting it into my voice. All right, so what's your last name? You're not going to believe it.
Uh-oh.
I'm cooker. Joe Baker. You know, it's interesting. Gets people excited. Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, so you can afford it. Oh, wonderful.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Yeah.
What are you doing today?
Right now, it's Broadway.
Yeah.
Because I'm essentially
Yeah. You had that account. You were right. That was good. Yeah.
for 5 years ago, I was a producer for actually one of the years. Next time I moved up, I'm like, Joel, let's switch it over. They moved him Hey!
University made this or maybe I see Dr. David has a pretty clean tank.
You got it going on, man. You got 3 faces right now. You got one of them. You got French. Not on Facebook, man.
Not on Facebook.
It's like 5 different locations.
It was fun. I think we did it all. It was like those big old places. None of us played enough.
And the other downtown companies aren't there. It's even harder to walk away from those $200 gigs on the weekend. Yeah.
Can I get someone to volunteer to do a quick interview?
I should say. I'll just do a little. Let's see.
All right. So this is who we have here, but we have more drummers coming in to talking real stuff and fake stuff.
Oh wait, you want to sit here?
Maybe if you sit right there, I'll see if you can.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. You want to say your name?
My name is Tom Larson.
Maybe a little closer. How long have you been in Nashville?
I've been in Nashville about 25 years.
25 years. And how many drummers lunches have you been to?
A bunch over the years. I was here when it was going on before, a long time ago, way back in the Kroger.
I remember you said that last time.
And then it died for a bunch of years, and a guy named Tom Rohde and I kind of revived it, and it bounced around a few places, and it eventually landed here. So.
And then it went for a little while to Soulshine Pizza, and it didn't work as well there, and then it moved back here.
Yeah, it kind of bounced around, but this is kind of a good home for it. It's a lot of space.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's easy parking.
It's easy. The parking's easy. That was the problem with Soulshine, or with some of the places in East Nashville, is you're trying to pay for parking, or it keeps people from enjoying what it's supposed to be. Just a bunch of drummers getting together and talking about usually anything but drums.
Yeah, talking about anything. And also, there's plenty of food. So,
exactly.
And some drummers
that doesn't
put away some food. So what is special about Nashville?
What is special about Nashville? I don't know. You hear so many people complain about Nashville, but there's an opportunity for everybody in every musical circumstance that is not typical of other cities around the country. Mm-hmm. I used to live in New Orleans, and I absolutely love New Orleans and the musical culture of New Orleans, but there's not the varied business and musical culture that there is here, because it's such a crossroads, and has been for so many generations, that there's guys making living downtown on Broadway, there's guys in the gospel scene, there's large church,
the Christian music scene.
The Christian music scene. I know people who are making music for video games. There's just about everything business-wise is here.
Yeah.
So that makes the opportunities. People can be a professional drummer in ways that I never would have.
And that's kind of what you're doing.
Consider.
Yeah. And there's also the infrastructure and support behind that. This is maybe a funny example, but it might be easier to get really good headshots, which you might need, because there's a bunch of photographers here who are
and website designers.
Yeah.
You probably live a block away from everybody that you could ever need in a business setting.
Yeah. I never thought about that. That's awesome. So what do you do?
What do I do? That's a lovely question. I'm a professional drummer, percussionist. I do a little bit of everything. I was on the road for a long time playing drums, but
playing drum set?
Playing drum set.
Uh-huh.
And then the last several years, at least leading up to COVID, I started branching more into hand percussion, and getting into playing along with ballroom dance competitions around the country. I'm still doing jazz gigs and blues gigs around town. A little bit of teaching. Brought a student here today to meet all the other drummers.
That's awesome.
Kind of whatever I get my hands on. So it's been a lot more varied, a lot less consistent, but a lot more varied playing wise. So.
Maybe would you mind if your students up for bringing them over here and seeing if they want to share their experience?
Sure, I would love to ask.
Okay, and I'm going to plug this in. I'm plugging this in. I just want to plug this in. If you want to come over here. All right. What's your name?
My name is Harrison Mahaffey.
And what inspired you to play the drums?
It's kind of difficult because my dad kind of always was a musician, and he always wanted me to play guitar, and it just never felt interesting towards me. So, and my dad always commented on me, saying that I always knew how to keep great tempo. So I just decided to play the drums.
Okay. Were you born in Nashville? Are you from Nashville?
Yeah, I was born in Nashville.
How old are you?
I'm 14.
14. What is special about Nashville?
I'd definitely say the music city, because a lot of people, it's just like country music, but like I'd say it's very understanding.
I agree fully. Yeah, it's pretty open. Would you say? Yeah. What music are you interested in?
I'm a fan of a lot of different genres of metal and rock and a little bit of jazz and.
Awesome. So, what is your dream? What do you dream about in music? What would you like?
So I don't really know if I would like to be like. I'd say like I'd like to be a drummer like on the side, because like being like a huge famous drummer, it's a lot. I wouldn't like it.
How do you know you wouldn't like it?
It's just I wouldn't like all the attention really, and I don't want to get like I don't want to be get possibility like get like caught up in like drug addictions.
So kind of the things that could go with it, and so is it you also that you kind of like to kind of do things behind the scenes a little bit, or is that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking the time to talking to me.
Yeah, no problem.
Definitely, we'll get some more people over here. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So here you can see drummers are coming in. See over here. Let's see.
Why did they do this? Yeah, I know. Nobody's working.
Maybe we could talk for a minute, and then maybe would you mind getting your daughter and seeing if your friend would also want to?
Oh, sure.
Do you want to start? Okay, well, if you want to have a seat here. Okay. All right, Seth, if you want to, let me just change this angle a little bit. Okay, go ahead and say, and probably maybe talk on the louder side. You don't have to be loud. You want to say your name?
Sure, my name's Seth Allen.
Seth Allen. How long have you been in Nashville?
I've been in Nashville. This is my second tour, I guess, in Nashville. I've been here about 6 years. I was here in the early 90s as well. But I'm originally a Memphis guy.
No, okay, so you're from Memphis. Born and raised in Memphis?
Born and raised in Memphis.
Okay, and how long were you in Nashville the first time?
Just a couple years. I was at Lipscomb University for a while.
Okay, so you came here for school originally.
Yeah, I did the Singorama show all over.
Okay, and why Nashville? What was it about Nashville that you chose? Or why did you choose Nashville?
Well, my drumming career is a little different than most. Most of what I do is I use drums as an analogy for corporate leadership training.
Okay, so you do some leadership development.
I do, and I use drums as both an analogy, and we teach people how to play drums within 30 minutes or so, just to show them that they can do new things and kind of break out of the shell.
I didn't realize you did that. I know you've done some work with NASA, I think.
I still do. Yeah.
And what's that work been?
I've been at NASA for about 20 years. Most of it was in the human spaceflight realm, and lately it's been in the Space Technology Mission Directorate and NASA's disasters program.
Okay. So how does that connect with music and drumming and the creative world?
It's interesting to me because you'd be surprised at how similar it might be, for instance, to put together an astronaut crew for a shuttle mission. How similar that might be to put together a band. You need the right people in the right spots. They all need to know what they
A team.
are going to do, and they all need to be competent at what they do. But you also need to let them do what they're good at. So,
yeah. How many drummers lunches have you been to?
How many drummers lunches? Maybe a couple dozen. It's been a few years. Yeah.
What do you think is unique about the drummer community in Nashville?
Nashville is very unique to me in that drummers are so helpful naturally, but in Nashville it's a little more organized and collegial. I've been to lots of towns where drummers would hang out, but it'd be 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
And here you never know. We've had lunches that could be up to 100 people or so, and sometimes it's just a handful, but it's always friendly, always cordial, and it's always about the creativity. It's not just to show your chops off.
Yeah.
Almost like we're all here for the song.
Yeah. Nice. Well, thank you. Do you mind asking your daughter see if she would do that? And let's see who else.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, and I mean, we're all on good terms. We're all already.
Over here.
Yeah.
All right. You want to say your name?
I'm Kate Allen.
Kate Allen. And how long have you lived in Nashville?
Well, I lived in Nashville for about 6 years, and I recently moved to Murray, Kentucky about a year ago.
What brought you there?
I wanted to go to school at Murray State.
Oh, okay, so school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you write music,
Yes,
you
I
write,
do.
you sing, and you also play drums. Is that
Yes, I
right?
do.
Do you ever do them all at the same time?
Yeah. For Battle of the Bands, back when I was in high school, I did one song where I was singing and playing drums at the same time. That was really fun.
Nice. What is unique about Nashville?
Opportunities everywhere you go.
Yeah. What kind of opportunities do you see?
Collaborations, people who want to record your music, like people who are interested in your music, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's really the music scene.
Yeah. Do you think you'll end up back in Nashville? Or do you think
Absolutely.
to get an education and come back?
Yeah.
And what are your what are goals or what are dreams that you have for yourself? Do you think you want to do music professionally, or do you?
Yeah, I would like to. I'm taking this next semester off of college so that I can just focus on music and write more songs, get more stuff recorded. One of my goals would be to get an album out there.
So that's something to work towards now. Yeah. Well, thanks for talking with me.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to just give another little tour. You can see the drummers' lunch is filling up. So these are all drummers here. Okay, I'm going to get the next drummer. Okay, next person is coming.
Happy to be here. This place. We got it on the way. You want the after time? You don't want to do it? Oh, really? Yeah, nice. Well, I would love to get your perspective.
All right. 5 minutes starting now.
All right. Make sure you're in on there. Okay.
How's the lighting?
The lighting is awesome. Yeah, we got this window here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Are you recording this or is this live?
It's live. You're live. Yeah. So you want to say your name?
John Root. R-O-O-T.
Pronounced Roots.
Well, yeah.
Uh-huh.
You can call me Root though if you
that's what I've heard. I've heard Root, but now I know. I think of you as presiding over this lunch now in some ways.
Yeah, not really. There's a Facebook group for professional drummers in Nashville called Nashville Drummers, and there are 6 administrators to the group, and I'm one of them. And I was the newest. At one point, I was the newest admin to the group, and they were all tired of writing the monthly posts about the drummers' lunch, so it fell in my lap.
So you took it on.
So since I'm posting it, everyone thinks that I'm kind of the guy behind it, but I'm just finding a goofy picture and writing something, once a month to get everyone here.
Well, you're usually here though too.
I try to be here, yeah. So there's kind of a representative, or I like the cuisine.
The hibachi grill. So how long have you been in Nashville?
30 years.
30 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to do another one with you and a panel of drummers so we can get deeper into that.
Okay.
But how many drummers' lunches do you think you've been to around?
Wow.
Estimate.
Probably back in 93, 94, the drummers' lunches were like at a Kroger. And there was just a leaflet, hung at Folks Drum Shop that said drummers' lunch, first Wednesday of the month, go to Kroger, So, it's probably 100 or so. It's probably 100 or so.
Wow.
Or more,
What's special about this community, this Nashville drummer community?
I think the drummers, they're willing to share and help each other. And I can't say it's different than other places, but I know that that's one thing. The camaraderie is real strong here.
For sure.
And nobody feels like talking to someone is putting their own job at jeopardy. Nobody's going to snake you on a job.
Yeah, well, I wonder, because there is more opportunity than most towns, I wonder if that helps also, that there's room. There's
such a broad spectrum of so much work here, too. Yeah.
Yeah, and what do you do?
What do I do? Right now, I've got 3 gigs a week playing in a bar, 3 nights a week.
Playing what kind of music?
It's country, 90s country / some rock and roll.
Okay.
I have a business where I maintain the house drum kits in many of the bars on Lower Broadway. All the bars have their own drum set, and so I maintain about 25 kits down there. I go 2 mornings a week and work that, and I have relationships with the manufacturers for parts and hardware and things like that to keep it all going. And then I'm also work on the road with Brooks and Dunn as their drum tech.
Is that a newer job for you?
Yeah, last year was my first year with them, so I've been with them about 11 months. Right
Okay, and that so you were out of town more than you had been for a while.
Yeah, I did the road as a drummer, for about 7 years.
Yeah,
I was doing tours and whatnot out on the road, and then I decided to stay home. I didn't really like the road, and so I just built up my in-town accounts. And then when this opportunity came around, their drummer of 20 years has been my best friend for 30 years. So to work with him and I've got other friends in the band that I play in their individual bands, and so. So
that sounds like a great gig.
It's a great gig, and they treat us with such respect and care.
Yeah,
and it's a great organization.
So I'm sure that organization feels like a great team.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they've been doing it for a long time, and so they know how to treat people.
Well oiled.
Yeah, and a lot of people that are working it have been there a long time, which shows you that they treat people well.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We'll get the next victim.
Next.
See that more people, drummers are coming. Drummers are showing. There's another table of drummers over there too. Okay, let's see who's next.
No trick questions.
No trick question. It'll be pretty simple. I'm not going to try to. Oh. The obligatory picture. Say your name, please.
My name's Greg Thiel.
How long have you been in Nashville?
13 years.
What's special about Nashville to you?
It's a lot of us, as far as drummers, we share a common thing. So everyone's friends and the camaraderie, just like today at the drummers luncheon.
And this is pretty unique to get. You know what? How many drummers are here right now? I mean, like 40 maybe, something like that. Yeah. So
And everyone's helping,
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've found this to be the case, but I've gotten gigs from other drummers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's good to know drummers even.
Yes. And if I have to call out of a gig, a lot of times, sometimes the singer will be responsible, but a lot of times they just say, "Hey, Greg, send someone that you think, is a good fit."
And you want to send someone who can handle it, right? And why do you want to send someone who could even be better than, technically a better player, maybe, or do you want to? That's a little. You don't want them to take your gig, but
right.
you also, I mean, you have some gigs that are they've been your gigs and you're pretty secure in your gigs.
And I'll usually send someone that I think is a good fit that plays similar to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is personality. Personality-wise, is similar.
Yeah.
If they have a dry sense of humor,
is that your sense of humor? Is it kind of
I'm dry and kind of pretty mellow.
What's your favorite joke? So how many drummers lunches do you think you've been to?
How many drummers lunches? I used to go almost to every month when I first moved here.
Yeah.
And we first started at a Kroger.
Oh, so it was still the Kroger when you
Kroger. And then we went to Busan's.
Okay.
The sushi place. And then here.
And then Soulshine for a little bit and then back here.
Soulshine for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's right.
But the hibachi seems to work.
Yeah.
It works.
So I used to go every month. And the busier I got, you miss some or you're out of town.
And so you're doing studio work and playing on Broadway
and road.
And the road.
Yep, all three.
So you're constantly balancing all of this. How do you have ways of like letting people know like I'm back, I'm available, or like how do you balance that?
I have the gigs that I have in town are regular weekly gigs.
Okay.
So I just show up,
Are those Broadway gigs?
Yep. And if I'm out of town, then I have to find a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't leave town for very long.
So you mostly work around your in-town gigs?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that is pretty much the bulk.
That's the bread and butter of your work. Uh-huh.
It's consistent. There's a lot of it. Yeah. And even if I've had a couple sessions where, they want to start at 10 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
So I will sub out sometimes that gig the night before.
Okay. And you have a roster of drummers that can handle it. What's special about Nashville? What's special about Nashville?
When I first, my story is I'm from Wisconsin, and I got asked to join a country band, and I was like, I don't want to join a country band.
You hadn't played country at that point.
hadn't played country.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up doing it, and I was like, "Hey, man, this is pretty cool." And the bass player used to live in Nashville, and he's like, "You should start making some trips down there and check it out." And I really wasn't interested in the Nashville thing because I thought it's country. That's all it is country music. And my first trip here, I was surprised that it was blues, especially like in Printer's Alley.
Yeah.
Early in the day, it's pretty hardcore country, and as it gets later at night, more rock and roll. And I'm like, this is kind of perfect because I get bored playing one style of music all the time. So by the second trip to Nashville, I had an apartment.
You were sold at that point.
I was. Yep.
How did you approach learning a new style and learning new music?
It was different. Country is different. There's a lot of split bars, and there's the song form, and it's very kind of traditional.
Did you chart everything out?
I didn't know how
at
first, and I took a lesson with Jim Riley.
Oh yeah, who's here?
Yep.
Let's see if I can talk with him.
I took a lesson with Jim and bought his book, and he taught me how to do the Nashville.
So you started writing your charts with the Nashville numbers?
The first year or so, I did it my own way, and it was just impossible. It just wasn't working.
Yeah.
Now everything is alphabetized, the Nashville number system, and if someone calls out some oddball song, and chances are, after now 13 years of charting songs, I probably have it.
And so, when do you bring up your charts every day?
Now, it's all in an iPad.
Yeah.
I used to use photo albums. I was the guy downtown.
You were flipping through pages.
Photo albums with note cards, 4x6 note cards.
Wow.
Flipping through pages, looking.
The iPad's probably a little faster.
Now the iPad, I can just type in the song.
Yeah. Are you using Fourscore or what?
Yeah, Fourscore. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for talking. I'm glad you agreed to talk to me.
Yes.
We're gonna find the next victim.
Yep. So what are you gonna edit it?
No, this is live.
Oh, is it?
What?
Yeah. What?
I'm sorry.
Don't tell him.
Okay. Let's see here. So I'm just doing this. It's like I have like an interview show, and I'm doing it at the National Drummers Lounge. So if you would say your name.
Joel McCoy.
Joel McCoy. And how long have you been in Nashville?
About a month.
About a month.
Yeah.
So around 30 days. What brought you here?
So I quit my real job back in Kansas City to pursue music full time, and I was doing relatively well. But I just kind of got to the point where, like, if I really want to take this seriously, I need to be where the industry is. So.
Somewhere where that's like the focus. That makes sense. I'm similar. I was on the West Coast, and similarly felt like I'd done what I wanted to do there. And anyway, so what have you found? What has it been to you so far at this point?
One of the most interesting things I found is back in KC, when you meet somebody and you say, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" "Oh, well, I'm a musician." Mm-hmm. "Yeah, but what do you do for money?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't get that here. Like, when I meet new people, like, "Oh, what do you do?" "Well, I'm a musician." It's, "Oh, cool. What instrument?"
Yeah, they might take you a little more seriously or something like that. Yeah. That's interesting. What are you wanting to? What do you hope to see happen being here?
Just hoping to be able to generate a good steady income, provide for my family, and do it in the one thing that I'm most skilled in. Like some people are skilled at being engineers, or doctors, lawyers. I'm a musician.
Cool. Well, yeah, you're in a good place. And this is your first drummers lunch, or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so this is your first. What do you think of this?
I like it. Because I really love the community here. Like, I know that because it's Nashville, it's very competitive and everything, but it's a friendly competitive.
Yeah.
Everybody's all friends here. I feel like if I went into like an audition, say, and there's like 4 or 5 guys auditioning for the drum spot, like if I get it, the other 3 guys are going to be happy. If one of the other 3 guys get it, I'll be happy for them. It's not as cutthroat and competitive is what I'm used to.
Yeah. I have a friend who I met at the drummers lunch almost 7 years ago, named Jason Wesley Smith. He's from KC. Also.
Yeah, I know.
You know Jason? Okay. Have you connected with him yet?
Not since I officially moved here.
Okay.
But I was making a bunch of trips out here over the summer, and we got together a couple times.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Well, thanks for talking with me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Next victim is somebody else. We'll do see the Nashville Drummers Lunch. So, just before we start, John Root was just telling me about some of the heavyweights that are here, but we have a heavyweight in her own right here.
You saying I'm fat?
No. Go ahead. What's your name?
Megan Richardson.
Megan Richardson. How long have you been in Nashville?
4 years.
4 years. What's special about Nashville for you?
Oh my gosh, the community of musicians, I feel like it's amazing. And this meeting of drummers.
The drummers lunch, like 40-some drummers.
The fact that people are here who are like just got to town or it's still in school or total heavy hitters or whatever, that everyone's just together and hanging out and chatting, and people are so welcoming.
Yeah. What are some goals, or what do you hope to see happen in Nashville?
In general?
For you.
For me?
Yeah.
I just want to keep meeting musicians and finding people to play with and finding projects that are inspiring. You know, I feel like there's a level of music that I want to be making. And so,
and you write as well.
I do. Yeah. I write songs.
Play drums.
Yeah.
Yep. How many drummers lunches have you been to?
A lot. Well, because I started coming when I moved here. It's been 4 years, but I was just like above the pandemic, so maybe 20, 30, somewhere in there.
Wow. Probably, maybe more than me. What's your dream gig?
My dream gig. Yeah, I'm still trying to invent it. It would be definitely playing original music.
Would it be touring a lot?
Touring would be awesome. Yeah.
Like, would you want to be touring nonstop?
For a while, yeah. I could do that.
Where would you want to be touring? You were in Europe for a long time. Is Europe on the?
Yeah, I spent a lot of this year in Europe, and it was awesome. The audiences were amazing and super supportive, and it's kind of a different vibe over there. So hopefully that's good. I can play more over there. Anywhere else that'll have me.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can spread it to these guys. But it's just a cool thing. All right, man. It's interesting. There's a lot of people who play on the right hand.
I'm a lefty. I'm a lefty. Don't keep it on right hand. You can't. Because
I'm looking for the next person. Haven't found them yet. Okay. If you would say your name, please.
Vincent D.
And how long have you been in Nashville?
Since 1985.
85. You've seen some changes.
Quite a few, yeah.
And you've told me before about what brought you here, but would you tell again about how you ended up in Nashville?
Okay. Well, I was with a group out of Chicago that had a hit song called The Curly Shuffle, and the name of the band was Jumpin' Saddle. And we actually got to come down here and perform because we were on Atlantic Records at that time. And just visiting Nashville just was wonderful. You know, I was living in Chicago at that time, me and my wife. And I mean, within the first 4 days that I was here, I met so many people, so many great players. It was just fun. And so when the opportunity came about that we weren't going to stay in Chicago anymore, we considered Nashville, and by golly, that's where we ended up.
How many drummer lunches do you think you've been to?
Oh God, I can't name them all, but I started coming to this lunch in 1986.
So well, that's pre-Kroger. That's before it was in the Kroger.
Oh yes.
Where was it then?
Oh, well, I mean they've been having it in little bars or something like that, you know.
But it was a regular thing even back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As far as you know, how long has it been going on? When did it start?
Well, I don't know if it started before me, but I mean, like I say, 1986, so it would have been about October or November of that year that I started coming to these. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And what was and is special about Nashville, and maybe how's it changed? Or what's special about Nashville?
Well, what's special about Nashville is the friendliness. I mean, I'm sure you got a picture of all of the guys that are here.
Yeah.
And that's like an average. And what used to be average, for sure. I think the best thing about Nashville is the friendliness.
The friendliness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the weather's usually really, really nice in the summertime, in the fall.
If you like it really hot in the summertime.
Yeah, I mean, when you live in Chicago, you know, it's cold, baby. Yeah. But I think that's got, you know, something to do with it. And getting to come on down here and record when I was still living in Chicago, that was another time that really sparked, you know, what Nashville could mean to me. And so, I mean, I've been thrilled since I lived here. Yeah.
You've been what?
I mean, I've been thrilled since I've lived here.
Yeah.
You know.
And so you've been here. I mean, it was like a different place probably in the mid '80s.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it was like a small big town, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't, honest to goodness, you didn't have to lock your car. You didn't have to deadbolt your house or anything. I mean, it was very, very calm, very, I don't know if trustworthy was the right thing, but you didn't have to worry about any of that big town jazz, you know, that normally that you do, you know. And the housing situation was pretty nice.
Like affordable housing. And, yeah.
But what I really loved about it was that immediately when I got down here, I got to meet folks like you, and and we would start into a conversation and get to know what's going on in town, and if there was something happening, you'd attend it. That's all. And,
What was it like musically when you moved here?
um, well, I would say very strongly country, which was great. And no offense.
And you weren't a country drummer at that point?
No, I was not. I had played country, but basically I was more of a pop, light rock kind of player. I had played behind country bands before, but never for like thinking about it as a everyday deal.
Yeah.
But one of the special things was the fact that I got to join the league when I did.
Was that a highlight gig?
Oh man, yeah, just wonderful.
Playing with Brenda Lee.
Yeah, in fact, I've worked with about probably over 30 different artists since I've been here, and I still play her as number one.
Yeah. Well, she was a very, like an iconic sort of singer. Yeah.
Well, not only that, I mean, just personality-wise, gig-wise, she didn't play any crazy gigs.
It was good quality gigs.
Good quality gigs, and she was just adorable. Still is. How
old is she now? Do you know?
Oh, she'd kill me if I'd say that.
Okay, no, don't worry about it.
I would say middle 70s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was really young when she started.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I think she started when she was like 9 or 10.
Like a child star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking with me.
You're very welcome. It's just so good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Eddie owes me money.
Right here? Right here. All right. And let's see, you're in there almost. Maybe change this. All right, will you say your name, please?
My name is Charlie Adams.
Charlie Adams.
I drum with an artist. His name is Yanni.
I think some people maybe have heard of Yanni.
Well, in our heyday when we played the Acropolis, up on the Parthenon.
What year are we talking?
I was in late 90s.
Okay.
That's when people bought things.
Yeah.
Before we streamed and
yeah,
the internet totally killed the music business.
Yeah.
We sold 8 million copies.
8 of that live album.
And that year, it was a VHS. There was no DVDs yet.
Yeah.
We outsold Michael Jackson. We were number 1 that year.
That's amazing. So how long have you been playing with Yanni?
40 years.
Whoa. 40
we
years.
used to be in a band. He was in my rock band called Chameleon.
And where was that?
Minneapolis, St. Paul. We were managed by Prince's manager.
What? Okay.
And we had a record deal with MCA, and we had a record deal with CBS. But as typical rock bands go,
break up.
It didn't last. So me and Yanni went out to Los Angeles, and we signed with Gorfin and Schwartz and started doing movie and TV soundtracks.
As a team?
As a team.
Oh, cool.
So that was the movie note. I had 5,000 movies on VHS.
Wow.
And I would read the scripts, and I would edit all these movies, the musical portions, and we would study it. And then we scored the pictures. And then he met Linda Evans from the Dynasty TV show. And she took us on Oprah Winfrey. And our 5th album went gold in 1 day.
Okay, so what year are we talking about?
Yeah, late 90s.
Okay, so you've been working pretty consistently, but it was that was like a turning, like a pivotal moment.
Pivotal moment was then. You know, then all of a sudden he was introduced to, because we were instrumental music. We weren't being played on the radio. But Linda found a medium that worked. So we were on Joan Rivers' show. We were on Jay Leno. We were on Regis and Kathy Lee. We went to, that was like Yanni's MTV in a way.
Yeah. Huh. So what was it? What do you think it was that the connection you had, you and Yanni? Was it that it was a friendship and you worked really well together? Like, what made it?
He joined my band, and we were like a very popular cover band.
Cover band?
For years, but then we went totally original.
Oh, okay.
And put out albums and things, but me and Yanni were such Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Yes, Genesis, Pink Floyd fans.
Okay.
We loved the prog rock.
Yeah.
And so we kept saying, someday maybe we'll play some instrumental music. You know? And it happened.
Yeah. And were you just a drummer then, or were you doing more than just drums?
Oh, I was full-time drummer.
I don't mean like. What other skill set did you have besides just drums, or was it just drums?
Well, I mean,
like were you writing at the time? And because you said you eventually started to do original music.
Yeah, man, I wrote with Yanni.
Okay, and you weren't writing lyrics as well, or?
We didn't have no singers.
Okay, so it was always instrumental.
Yanni was it is.
No, I understand. So was it like your process? I know that could be a lot of different ways, but how would you often write? How would that work?
Well, we would jam, and I would give him rhythms. And by listening to all the soundtrack music, I had a tendency to lean towards. We listened to John Williams all the time.
Okay.
John Barry, the James Bond, Bill Conti, Rocky. We were into their soundtracks. And that's instrumental.
Yeah. So it was kind of cinematic was kind of the
very much so. Cinematic.
That's really interesting.
We thought that's what we were going to do.
Film scores.
That's what we were doing. But then Linda took them on open.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden Yanni discovered the Housewives of America.
And they discovered Yanni.
And they discovered him.
Yeah.
And Oprah showed them a whole new audience out there. They came out to concerts decked out in their dresses and high heels and pearls, and they dragged their husbands along. And I was the savior of the husbands because they like drum solos.
Right. So you got to be featured every night.
I was featured every night.
How long have you been in Nashville?
I have been here now for 30 years.
Wow. What brought you to Nashville?
When me and Yanni both left, we were in Los Angeles. We got really big with the band Chameleon when we were in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And we were sponsored by the Miller Brewing Company. And we'd play Minneapolis, St. Paul, go down to La Crosse, go down to Madison, Wisconsin, over to Milwaukee, down to Chicago, down to St. Louis. We were like the big Midwest band. And when the band broke up, we moved to LA and started doing the soundtracks. Well, when our Live at the Acropolis album hit really big, Yanni's accountant said to him, you can stay here in California, but you owe $1 million in state income tax, or you can move someplace else. He moved to Florida, no state income tax. I moved to Nashville, no state income tax.
And Nashville, what was it about Nashville that you chose?
Well, 50% of the population of the United States lives within 600 miles of Nashville. So it was great for my drum clinics. So when I wasn't touring with Yanni, I was in clinics and teaching. I was teaching 40 students a week.
Okay.
This is before the internet.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing international drum lessons.
Are you doing like Zoom? Are you doing that?
I was doing FaceTime.
And
Skype.
But it's a way to communicate video.
I just started advertising, and all of a sudden I get calls, and I PDF all the materials and send it to them, and everything is put a credit card down, and I got PayPal.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, what makes Nashville special?
I thought it was going to be a good place to raise my kids.
You thought?
I still do.
Oh, okay.
It's getting a little crazy now.
It's growing a lot.
Too many people are moving here. But at the time that I moved here, my little girl was 3 months and my boy was 2 years old.
Oh yeah.
Now they're 32 and 30.
Uh-huh.
But I have two younger boys that are 25 and 23. I have two autistic boys.
Okay, and they're in Nashville?
They're in Nashville.
Uh-huh.
So, but I thought it'd be a good place for the kids. My kids went to the Nashville School of the Arts.
Uh-huh.
You know, so this has been, I thought that it was a very family-oriented city.
Yeah.
Much compared to LA.
Yeah.
Night and day.
Yeah.
So this was a good place to bring. My wife didn't want to go back to Minneapolis, St. Paul. Too cold, too much winter.
Yeah.
And I didn't really want to go back to Chicago. I'm from Chicago.
That's where you're from originally. Okay.
One of my claim to fame is I taught Jimmy Chamberlain and Smashing Pumpkins for 5 years.
That's awesome. Nice.
And my teacher in Los Angeles was Eddie Shaughnessy from the Johnny Carson Tonight Show.
I know. I remember him. One of my first drum clinics ever was one that he did.
Eddie was great.
And I have a friend, teacher, mentor, Rockalam Bob Moses, who he was his godfather.
Oh my gosh, small world.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking with me. I really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah, and good to meet you as well.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing people, talking to people, and then I'll. As you can see right here. All right. If you'd say your name.
Brandon Blanky.
Brendan Blanky.
Yes, sir.
And how long have you been in Nashville?
I've been here about 26 years. I came from Hollywood, California in the hairband days.
Okay.
I did all that in the 80s. I graduated high school and said I'm going to go be a famous drummer in Hollywood, California. Off I went.
And what brought you to Nashville?
Well, after the hairband days kind of washed up, I was a tech there for a while too to get started. I knew Nashville was the only place to come for music. So luckily they needed rock and roll drummers when I got here.
And what was it like when you got here?
Man, the scene was, it was small, really, compared to LA as far as the networking went, you know. I kind of met people right away. Of course, I met Billy. And Charlie Adams has been a good friend of mine for years. It was just a lot more laid back, a little bit more honest. You know, out there it was dog eat dog. Put a poster up, somebody else was tearing it down. You know, it was the 80s.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. It was great, though, at the same time.
And what's special about Nashville?
I think it's just the Southern charm and the community of people that just... it's not, like I said, so much dog eat dog here. I mean, it's the music business. You always have that. But when I first got here, Billy played a lot on the road with Tim McGraw. And when he was off the road, a lot of times he'd have club gigs and stuff. He'd give them to me if he didn't want to do them or couldn't do them or had studio stuff. Charlie hooked me up with a lot of gigs. I actually took lessons from Charlie for a while. It was just more of drummer camaraderie where everybody got along and helped each other more than trying to get the other guy's gig and steal a gig and back talk, you know, and just talk behind your back. Just a better community of drummers. It always has been.
Yeah.
For me here.
Yeah, there's like a vibe of being collegial or helping or being friendly.
And everybody's good here. That's at the level. You know, when you get to a level, everybody's a great drummer here. In Hollywood, it was more of a look. It was more of, there was some really good drummers and there were some horrible drummers that looked good that had gigs that made $1 million. There still is. But here, everybody's, it's just great musicians, you know, bottom line.
Yeah, what have been some highlights since you've been here?
I guess my highlights, other than playing, Billy and I were on the road with country artists and got to tour around on a bus together and had a blast. So we still play together in a great tribute, Tim McGraw tribute band. That's been a highlight of mine. Lots of good gigs that I've got to do here. Just all the drummer buddies that I have in the family. I guess I give lessons now. Music Girl Drummers Den in Murfreesboro. I teach a lot.
You teach there? I've driven by there.
Oh yeah, it's a great store. We cater to the drummers. I've got friends at Forks. I've been friends with for years. If we don't have it, we send them to Forks. Forks sends them to us. We've got vintage stuff. We've got new stuff. We carry, we've got DW. We've got hardware. We've got Ludwig. We've got Pearl. We've got Gretsch. We get a lot of vintage stuff. I cater. Dave's the owner. We cater to drummers. We got a guitar shop also, but I do a lot of repairs. We do churches, reheading, tuning. We're just kind of a one-stop drum shop. If you need it, if we don't have it, we can get it or recommend it. Like I said, I give the lessons there. I've got great students. We're having a drummers hang next month on the 28th on a Tuesday night, 6 o'clock. Be our second one. Last time we probably had 50 guys there because tornadoes and storms were going through. It would have been pretty huge. I think it's going to turn huge. Of course, we're telling everybody here. Yeah. It's just a laid-back network, cool hang. No egos, no attitudes. We have some sodas and some hors d'oeuvres and just have a really cool hang time. Yeah. And everybody can network and hang out and talk about tours, talk about drums. And then I had my Ludwig rep there last time, and we usually try to have a rep. We're going to turn it into clinics. We're going to try to get Charlie, when he gets over his health issues with his hands and stuff, we're going to probably have him do a clinic this spring, a good clinic, because he's a great clinician. And we have had clinics in the past, but, with COVID and everything, it kind of shut everything down. So now we're trying to kind of bring it back out. Nice. So, but yeah, it's a cool hang. A lot of good people. So,
it sounds like some good things.
It's going to be a blast.
Awesome. Well, thank you for talking with me.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, brother. Nice to meet you. What was your first name?
Clifford.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you too. Who else?
People are good at what I'm doing now, but it's like good. And back when I was doing
How are you doing?
doing good.
So let's see. All right. Okay. If you'd say your name, please.
Jim Riley.
And how long have you been in Nashville?
Since 1997. I don't even know how long I've been in.
So that's 25 years, right? 25 years. What's special about Nashville?
I've always said you have to go where the work is, and I felt like of all the places that I could move, that Nashville was definitely the best place for me, just because there was so many opportunities to play live, studio. I felt like most of the cities that I could consider had a really good local scene. I felt like Nashville had a really good kind of bridge ladder to like more of a national scene, and so that's why I moved here, and I still think that's true.
Almost like the farm team leading to the pros, something like that.
Well, yeah, Nashville has all of that. There are people playing locally, there are people playing regionally, and there are people playing with some of literally the largest acts in the world, all in Nashville. Yeah. And that can't be said for other cities. I think other cities, there's a bit of a ceiling in terms of opportunity.
Yeah. What is special about Nashville? That's obviously something, but what are some other things that are special about Nashville?
No, Nashville's changed so much over the years. I think the opportunity. That's what when I think about Nashville, I think about the idea of opportunity, and I've never been anywhere where there was more opportunity to advance. I know there's a lot of people that come to Nashville, and the streets are paved with broken dreams, but I think that's only true because there's also so much opportunity here, and so I feel very fortunate to be one of the people that's had a very good run here.
Yeah, you've played for a long time at a really high level, but also you've always been an educator as well, I believe. So how did you what was the balancing act of doing both of those?
Well, for me, I had a passion for teaching, and I moved to Nashville literally to be, a musician and be touring. I got to grab this.
Okay. Maybe you can come back.
Hey, Braden.
I'll do the little tour.
I do.
I'm gonna give a quick tour while he's on this call. So this is we have this table over here. In my hand. And
Wow, that's cool. That's really cool.
we got this table over here. So this is the Nashville Drummers Lunch. Say hi real quick. We have Stair, who's a photographer. Brian, Zach, maybe you'll come talk to me in a minute. Talking to you. All right.
And they did. Yeah, that's
Drummers everywhere. Hello. I hope you're enjoying this. It's kind of it's a little different, but it's fun to get a kind of a quick, almost like it's like a speed dating or something like that. So I hope to talk with some of these folks more in depth. But we're gonna keep going. We have a few more of these, and then gonna end it. Thanks for tuning in.
No problem. I'm not worried about it.
I think I only had like one.
We're trying to get together and talk about some of that virtual other stuff. Maybe later this week. All right, bye.
How many drummers lunches do you think you've been to?
I haven't been to that many actually.
Oh, okay.
I've only been to maybe since '97. They've been going on the whole time. I've only been to probably 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. Well, good to have you here today.
Yeah.
What have been some highlights for you since moving?
This is great today. There's a lot of people. There's two of my former students that are working as Nashville drummers are here. Actually, 3 different, technically 3 people that have studied with me here. Longtime friends. Charlie Adams is here from Yanni, a fellow Ludwig guy.
Yeah. You said Ludwig?
Yeah. But this is great. This is the reason why you come here, and sometimes there's 5 or 6 people here, which has been the case. And obviously here today, it's chock full of players that have done it at the highest level, players that are wanting to do it, and they're getting a chance. Players that are wanting to do it are getting a chance to talk to the people that have done it. And I think that's super valuable.
Yeah. And so career highlights. I know you've had a long career. Would have been some highlights for you, just as far as moments, or obviously the band that you've been with for many years. But
Rascal Flatts. It was such a great run. Get to play sold out Madison Square Garden. Sold out Staples Center. Sold out Red Rocks. All of those things are
you're living the dream.
Yeah, super fun. Just getting to do some of the interesting traveling that we did over the years, going to Europe, going to Australia. Just getting to play on platinum record or #1 hit song, any of those kinds of things. Those are all those are the reasons why you do this. Playing the Tonight Show, playing the Letterman Show, doing all those kinds of things, the things you grow up dreaming about. It's great to have an opportunity to accomplish those.
Yeah, and you are still really active in education, and so the best place for people to find you is your website, which is what?
You could reach out to me on Instagram, Jim Riley Music. Leave me a message there. That's probably the easiest place to find me.
Okay. Well, thank you for chatting with me.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh. It's like speed dating.
I'll try and jump in. I'm fresh blood here.
No, I want all different perspective. If you say your name, please.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Mike Rice.
And how long have you been in Nashville?
1 year.
1 year. Has it actually been the anniversary date of being here?
My anniversary day is it's like a couple days away.
So you're almost there. Cool. What brought you here?
A lot of my friends that were heroes from my drum corps youth, they were all living here, being very successful, and I had been coming out here over the years before COVID. Wanted to get here sooner, but things didn't line up, and now things changed. Everything's kind of wide open again, and I decided to pull the trigger.
What's special about Nashville? What have you noticed?
There's amazing talent everywhere. I really enjoy the fact that we have all levels in all environments. You can go downtown on a Tuesday morning and see one of your heroes just rip it, like amazing talent. There's so many venues, there's so many stages across the whole area. Outside of the city, there's phenomenal shows, and if, I'm a fan first, and as a fan of music, like it's just a happening place. There's great education here. Friends that are professors here that are doing phenomenal. Good stuff. Yeah.
And how many drummers lunches have you been to?
I think I've been to every single one since I moved here. It's
like 12, around 12.
Yeah, I think this is my 11th one, and this is definitely our biggest one we've had since I've been here. It's great. It's great to see so many good friends here.
This is what it was like before COVID. It was like this.
Yeah.
And what is it about the drummer community here that's different or special?
Being an outsider coming into it, I like the fact that everyone is kind of out here helping each other. Like, man, I can't make a gig. Can you sub in for me? There's plenty of people wanting to work or willing to work, but they're also willing to share that work and simple things like sharing links on drop boxes so you can share charts, and you're gonna sub this gig for you, I got charts for you, all sorts of just good shared information in general. No one's hoarding. Everyone's helping.
Yeah. I mean, an example of that for me, very drummers who have very good careers going on, who have initiated like getting together for coffee, and one Jamie Rogan, he we were talking about charts. He's like, well, let's get together and I'll show you some of my charts, and just like stuff like that. Yeah.
Since I've been here, these lunches, these coffee get-togethers you talk about, they've been my everything, because I'm not afraid to message a good friend and say, hey, don't you know so and so? Can you give me an intro? And then you sit down and you start making some really great connections. And it's been a very welcoming environment.
Yeah. And I'm glad you're having that experience. I find it to be the same. Anything else about Nashville, or anything else you want to say about what are some hopes for your career in Nashville?
To keep growing, keep gigging, keep playing, every avenue, whatever it is, performance, writing, creating, gigging, everything from original music down the wire to your corporate gig.
So it sounds like you're open to a lot of different things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's great. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
Oh, yeah. I want to see who's next. Next victim. What's that? All right, I'm just gonna plug this in. Let's see. All right, we'll be right back with somebody else.
Like a picture of me and Ray
That's fine. Yeah, I played with Chip McGraw 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. If you'll say your name, please.
Okay, Billy Mason.
And how long have you been in Nashville?
Nashville since '85.
85. What brought you to Nashville?
I have a wife and 2 kids, and I wanted to do something with my music, so I came here. Yeah.
Music City, it made sense.
Yeah.
Because you knew that was your career.
Right.
What is special about Nashville?
I just think that there's no limits to what kind of music you could do. You know, it's just very, very music versatile, I guess, if you want to call it.
Yeah. And so Tim McGraw was a long time gig.
Yeah, 20 years.
20 years.
Plus I played on most of his hits, Like You're Dying, all that stuff.
So you were doing studio and live.
Yes.
Okay, which was that rare back then?
Yeah, I think Tim was the first artist to do that. Use his band in the studio.
I mean, that's interesting. And so like, around what year was it that he started doing that?
2005.
Okay, so you've been playing together for a long time before you started doing that?
I joined him in '94, 3 months before Big Hit in an Outlaw came out, and then I was there till 2015.
Okay, that's a good run.
Yeah, it was. I'm so blessed.
And so, what have some other highlights been for you?
Well, Tim McGraw was really my biggest highlights, honestly. But we did the Grammys, Like You're Dying, and we won best album and best music for that. We've been all over the world.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was that ride like?
Oh, it's awesome. We played Madison Square Garden, and Tony Bennett got up.
Tony
Bennett?
Sang
with it. Yeah, they got up and sang with us. And then we played Atlanta, and Kenny Rogers got up and sang with us. So we got to do some really, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
We played over in Rome. We did a Live 8, it's called, in Rome.
Live 8?
Live 8, it's
called.
And it was like 300,000 people there.
That's incredible.
It was us and Tears for Fears.
So what... I know it's probably hard. What was the feeling of playing for 300,000 people?
I was just so blessed. Sometimes I have to close my eyes and just kind of like try to take a picture in my mind.
You had performed so much at that point. Was it you were able to just take it in and savor it?
Yeah. Plus it's you play into a click, and the clicks all sync up to video screen, and you really got to be on your game. You're really paid to be perfect. Basically. There's no room for error. So that's a level that a lot of these kids will probably never ever get to. You got to be like almost like exact on.
And so you knew that show cold. How did you get to that point where you could play a show without mistakes?
Well, we'd rehearse. Like we'd go to soundcheck SRR, and we'd rehearse for a tour for like a month.
Okay, so it's just drilling, repetition. Yeah.
Then of course, back then we were doing Letterman show all the time. Jay Leno, Ellen. We did Oprah. We did pretty much any TV show at the time.
Yeah. And have you throughout your career worn other hats or done other things, or has it always been just drums?
No, just drums. Just drums.
No education or anything like that?
Self-taught. I was raised out in Southern California. Grew up playing Dixieland and jazz and Motown stuff. So I was kind of a really versatile drummer.
So country was new for you when you moved here? Okay. Yeah.
Because my first gig here was with Bill Anderson on the Opry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're playing train beats and, three-quarter time and, waltzes, stuff like that.
That sounds like an amazing introduction to Nashville.
Oh, yeah, it was.
So it's changed a lot.
Oh, yeah.
What are some of the positive changes you've seen?
I don't know if I'm really positive. I just see it, I don't play downtown anymore and that kind of stuff. So, to me, it's getting a little bit over saturated. I would say, too much
music-wise.
Yeah, I think it's getting way too much, and I don't go downtown anymore. I'm pretty much retired now. So I think it's gotten kind of overpopulated. The country music, I think, is getting little too poppy. Too, you know, I really miss the 90s country was like the best because like Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, everybody's doing all that 90s stuff. And that's all the fans want to hear.
Yeah.
George Strait, it's all music, you know, from the 90s.
Yeah. You see more of the connection with the past there, maybe, than the. Yeah. I can see that.
But I just wish everybody in town all the best, and you know, hopefully they'll all get to have the ride like I did. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Well, thank you for talking with me.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm good.
You want to stay right here?
Sure.
Also, there's another time we could talk about, but I was talking with John and Andrew about doing like a panel thing, like probably at a bar downtown.
Oh, I'd love to.
The three of you guys.
I'd love
Just
to.
talking more in depth about your experiences.
I'd love to.
All right, would you say your name?
It's Alan Blackstone.
All right, how long have you been in Nashville?
7 years this month.
7 years this month. Yeah, so we met early on.
We did. I think soon after you got to town. I think I got here maybe a couple, 3 months before.
3 months
you
before,
so.
yeah.
It wasn't long.
And we met at this drummer's lunch.
We sure did.
Was it your first or second drummer's lunch? Or?
It was maybe my first.
Okay.
Certainly the first.
I think it was my first drummer's lunch. Well, I came to one before moving here, so I don't know if it was the first or second. So what's special about Nashville?
Man, I think everything. I've retired Navy, 25 years, and I moved here just to give it a chance, to have a chance to do what I always
pursue your passion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dreamed of doing. And I quite honestly didn't expect to be as successful, and success means different things to different people in Nashville.
Absolutely.
But I didn't expect to be, I've done far better than maybe I had a right to expect. And I was prepared to crash and burn within 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And if that happened, we'd have moved on and done something else. But what I didn't want is to look back in 20 years and wonder what might have been.
Yeah. Yeah. So you moved here and you got to work. Your job was to go down to Broadway, meet people, and learn songs.
Exactly.
And you got to working pretty quickly.
Well, it took longer than I wanted, but 2 months after I moved to town is when I got my first gig.
Okay.
And then it was another month after that before I got my second gig. And then things picked up. It took a year and a half before I felt like I could call myself a full-time musician.
Yeah.
And where I had enough scheduled work where it wasn't just a day-to-day thing. And it's been phenomenal.
Well, I've always been really impressed with what you have done, because when I met you, you were saying what your aspirations, but you hadn't done it yet. So it's really cool to see you do it.
Well, thank you.
So what? How many drummers lunches do you think you've been to?
This is probably, I haven't been able to go as often as I would like. A lot of the reason is because I have a late shift on Tuesdays and then an afternoon shift on Wednesdays, so it's a little bit crammed. And you just got to make the conscious decision to be, and I love it. Today's a phenomenal turnout. I've probably been to a couple dozen of them, all told.
What's special about the drummer community in Nashville?
The mutual support that I feel like we give to each other, and
I feel like you passed a gig on to me at some point. I feel like
there was one that with a gent.
The one in Kentucky?
It was in Kentucky.
Yeah, I did that and actually made a good friend from that gig. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, I wish I could remember that gent's name. It was a fun gig.
I don't remember his name.
I actually ended up going out with him a couple months after you did, and it was up to Cincinnati. And yeah, super
playing
fun.
Tin Roof maybe?
Exactly, Tin Roof in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Super nice guy. Good band. And I learned a lot. There's a lesson in every gig for sure.
Yeah.
But what's special about the drummers community, the accessibility. For example, I was listening to the song "Your Body's a Wonderland." This has been 3 or 4 years ago, and I just was noticing the ride cymbal in that song. I love the way that sounds. I need to have this in my bag, and so I posted on the drummers page on Facebook, and literally within 10 minutes, I had the answer Near Z, and then Near Z came out and commented himself and said exactly.
The person who recorded it.
He's like, and he says, I'm still using that cymbal on sessions today.
So you then found out exactly what that cymbal
was? I did,
was.
and then I went and got one.
So you have one. That's so cool.
Yes.
That is amazing.
And then just for example, today, I'm sitting next to Charlie Adams, and I find out he's Yanni's drummer. He's been with him for 40 years. And we talked about our daughter just got married in Greece in early October. And we went to a concert, thank you so much, at there's an old theater, Odious, I believe, on the Acropolis. So we went to a show there.
Oh, cool.
Yanni at the Acropolis was from right there. He was the drummer.
Yeah, we talked about
So,
that too.
and then I turned and said, on the other side of me is Billy Mason.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the impact that the songs he played on had in our family and our life as a soundtrack. And that happens all the time, and this town just amazes me for that reason.
Yeah.
There's a video of Johnny Cash's drummer, Fluke Holland.
What's his name again?
Fluke Holland.
Fluke Holland.
And he's talking about the Fluke Holland train beat, which is an iconic, it's a double stroke, not the single stroke. But he's literally patting out that train beat on one of these tables at this restaurant. And so that's part of how I learned.
At the Hibachi Grill.
Exactly.
That's fun.
Years ago, obviously.
I need to ask you about that video.
Yeah.
Later, yeah. So if you look him up and look up Train Beat or something like that,
Fluke Holland train beat, and you'll find a video of him.
You say he's playing doubles.
Yeah, it's a double stroke train beat, and he's doing. And part of his deal was, I can do this all day.
Yeah.
This gets a little bit.
Work the hands.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, thank you so much. So I'll talk to you about doing another one.
Of course.
I'd love to. And all that.
Thanks, great seeing you too.
Great to see you too. All right, we're winding this up. There's a few more people. Okay, still waiting for a few people. I've been in Nashville for almost 7 years. It's special, kind of what almost everybody's been saying. It's the community. There's an openness, I think, to collaborating and working with each other. And there have been so many highlights for me for being here. I mean, I've had experiences like going on a tour, doing a tour in Texas, but really it's been more like the collaborations and also chances to grow and learn, like playing playing music, like composing music for a big convention. and getting to do like some facilitation with some big groups and things like that. Okay, I'm gonna try to get a few more people, and then we're gonna end the stream.
I always offer to see
I'm waiting on one more person, but he's in a conversation. So I'll do another tour of the lunch. It's kind of winding down. But now we have.
All goes smooth. You're good. Yeah.
All right, be right back. Sorry, everybody.
You know, hold the pilot accountable. Guess what? He flies the baby. Go on the road. Oh yeah. Like they come in and touch the floor to get a hotel because it's all they Southwest.
It's really just not strong enough to hold that tension. Sometimes our muscles we don't need to stretch it. Like trying to stretch a rubber band.
It's a drummer's lunch and I have not eaten, so I got a plate of food.
And then one of them actually
Insurrection. I'm gonna just keep this going for a few more minutes. All right. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
If you say your name.
Yeah, Carl Boudreaux.
Carl Boudreaux.
Yeah.
And you're originally from where?
South of Louisiana.
And you were in New Orleans for a while?
Yeah, New Orleans area. Yeah. Right outside New Orleans, between New Orleans and Baton Rouge.
Yeah. How long have you been in Nashville?
About 4.5 years off and off.
And what brought you to Nashville?
I don't know. Originally, I just expand my my playing. I guess ultimately looking for that next level gig. And then I'm just coming to town and just networking and meeting people and like picking up gigs when I was in town. And then I had steady work down in Louisiana. And then COVID hit. Everything was shut down. But then up here in Nashville opened up before Louisiana did.
So is that when you made a kind of a transition?
Yeah, so that's when I started getting calls to play here. So I was like, just sitting around here in Louisiana.
You already had connections here at that point.
Yeah. So it kind of worked out for me.
Yeah.
Weird way.
That's cool.
So I'm here now.
What's special about Nashville for you?
No, I think it's the the community. Like this, does not exist in where I'm from. This is very cool, and I understand this has been going on for a long time. But it's like most of the guys that I know, they don't. We're all on the same page. Like it's not a competition. Like we're in this together. Like we're trying to help each other out.
Yeah, we're all trying to work in something that we're passionate about and creatively and all that. Yeah, sure. What have been some highlights since you've been here? What have been some highlight moments for you? And then what is it that you are? What is the bigger gig that you are dreaming of?
So I'll say one of the highlights since I've been here. This was back, I guess, 5 years ago. But it was at the Nashville Drummers Jam.
Yeah.
And long story short, I got to play a song there. Just put your name in the hat and draw it out. Anyway, that was really cool. And that's why I got to meet a lot of guys, a lot of big name guys, and hang out with them. And I don't know. I mean, I love the country stuff. I guess that's what my ultimate goal would be. Like, to be a country artist gig, but not necessarily. I mean, right now I'm working on.
Is it mostly Broadway?
All Broadway stuff. Yeah, I love Broadway.
Would you kind of describe what a day or what a week could look like for you here?
Yeah. So. Depending on the time of year, I mean, like spring, summer, early fall, I'm doing 10 to 12 gigs a week. It's slowed down a little bit here in the fall and winter. I'm still doing like 6, 7. This week I've got 8 gigs a week, so different time shifts, 2 to 6, 6 to 10, some closing, some early mornings.
You're doing it all.
Doing it all, yeah. Whoever's calling out, like.
And they're 4-hour shifts, right? From 10 a.m.
Roughly, 4-hour shifts
until 2 p.m.
Yeah.
2 a.m. What you already knew a lot of the music? It sounds like before.
Yeah, I've been doing this a long time. I've been playing a long time.
You've been playing country music for a long time.
Country music and whatever rock stuff, whatever.
So it wasn't like new repertoire for you?
No, not really.
What do you do when you encounter new songs, or how do you do it?
I will pull out my iPhone. I will dial it up and listen to the beginning of it, how to start, get the groove, get the feel for it. All right, and then after that we'll just wing it.
Yeah. So just get a starting point.
Yeah.
Get a feel, get a tempo. Yeah.
And a lot of songs, like I've heard it, but it's like, I'm not really sure what the drums are doing there. Let me give a quick listen.
Yeah. Nice.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for talking with me.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. This is a live broadcast.
Okay.
So you're live. Will you say your name, please?
My name's Aaron Apter. Should I talk into the camera or look at it?
That's a good question. I don't know. The camera's fine, probably.
Okay.
How long have you been in Nashville?
I've been in Nashville for about a year right now.
Okay. And what is it about Nashville that's special to you?
thing that's really special about Nashville is that I came from Chicago. Prior to that, I lived in Chicago. I lived in Pittsburgh, New York. I've lived in a lot of different cities. And Nashville is really interesting because it's an industry town and it supports musicians like no others. I lament about how I miss the food from Chicago and miss the expansiveness of it. But even a much bigger city, Chicago, doesn't support musicians like the way Nashville does. And that's what I really dig about Nashville. And you can make a living here playing music.
Well, and would you talk about what you do? Because you kind of balance different things. Would you talk about that?
So what I actually came to Nashville for, ironically enough, was I came to work in rehab, pain management, physical therapy, whatever you want to call it, for musicians, because prior to this work, prior to working in this area, I was a musician. I got a really bad injury. They said, "You're never going to play again." And I said, "I'm going to prove you wrong." So I went back to school, learned how to correct my own issues, and then I decided, you know what, I want to help other musicians do this. So I decided to move to an industry town, which was Nashville. And moving to Nashville, I quickly discovered that, okay, I can meet a lot of musicians very quickly, but I didn't intend on playing music, but I just kind of fell into it, and then one thing led to another, and kind of was almost like the universe was telling me that you need to help musicians, but you also need to be playing music. And I think Nashville can be really great for meeting new people, and I mean, I play with new musicians every day in Nashville. I treat new musicians every day. There's so many musicians here, and people value it. So I think there's a lot of opportunities here for musicians in a variety of ways. It's really a unique time. Because again, I've only been here for a year, but I hear everyone says how rapidly things are changing.
Oh yeah.
And I feel that it's kind of like almost like the wild, wild west in the sense that there's lots of new things happening daily. It is like, it's a free-for-all. So,
in a good way for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, in a good way for the most part.
There's opportunity to do something.
Yeah. There is, if you're open to it, there's opportunity. And I find that if I'm not saying, I want this and only this is who I am. But if I'm going to say, okay, what kind of person does Nashville need? What kind of musician? And I found that there's a lot of spaces for me to fill.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you can help musicians with the physical element, but then also, like you're saying, also playing on Broadway. I mean,
yeah. And I find that it's really great because, and I'm gonna look at you because I feel like such a psycho looking at the phone, but going to a doctor is great. And I'm never knocking that, but a doctor doesn't understand, you have all these questions about like what you're going through and how it's going to affect your work, but a doctor doesn't understand that. And they frame it to you in ways that like, oh, well, maybe you should stop playing so much, or maybe...
Yeah, it's like that's not an option for everybody.
Yeah, that is not an option. And it's also like a lot of the things people expect, I say treating your pain is a lot like learning an instrument or learning a style. There's not one thing that makes or breaks it.
Yeah.
So if you have a pain in your shoulder, unless you got like hit by a car, unless you had a fall, it's usually a lot of different things combined that cause it. And it's going to be a lot of things that you need to do to rectify it. It's not going to be one stretch. It's not going to be avoid doing one thing. And really, there's nobody here to do that for musicians because that takes time to understand. I'm as viewed as like I'm being a teacher to people where someone's saying, I want to work on this style of music, can you help me? And I tell them, okay, well, just like learning a style of music, fixing your pain is not going to be a 2-week, a 3-week thing. It's probably going to take you some time. It's all about what you invest into it in terms of your energy and how important it is to you. But again, I found that people are really receptive to know that someone's treating them also has walked a mile in their shoes. And again, that's why, and also the people that I work with on the medical side, they're like, musicians don't have any money. And there's some truth to that, but in Nashville, musicians can make a living.
Yeah.
And I also said, well, you're just expressing to me your lack of understanding of what a musician is, because musicians work hard. We spent our whole life developing a craft, which is like even a doctor has spent less time developing their skills than a musician. So having someone really understand that, I think, is important. And yeah, I just find that there's nobody here that will like. I've seen some of my clients for over a year now. Like I saw them from the day I got here.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, I get the impression that you're dealing with them holistically.
Yeah. If you want to use that term, yes. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I avoid using that term not because it's bad, but because I think sometimes people have a total misconception about it.
Okay.
Like they think I'm like waving incense and singing chants.
Okay. I didn't think that. Yeah.
But yeah, holistically, like I tell people, like, okay, well, so you're having this pain, right? So you're sleeping 4 hours a night. You're playing 8 hours a day. You're drinking how many Red Bulls a day? How many alcoholic beverages? And then you're also working out on top of that in maybe a way that's not beneficial to you.
Like stressing even more.
Yeah. So you're just overloading yourself, and people, they think, oh, and then I went over to, like, the other day I went over to pick up my kick drum pedal, my back went out. And they think that it's, oh, because I have a bad back. Or they think it's just because, oh, I picked up something that was too heavy, where it's really the accumulation of patterns over time.
Yeah.
Like, I've just been mistreating my body. And then they think, okay, what's the stress that will fix it? And I said, well, what's gotten you to this point is we have to look at everything really as a whole. It's kind of like, how do I fix my groove? You can't think of just one thing.
Yeah.
You have to think of it as, let's look at everything from a whole. And we need to assess everything as a whole. So yeah, I do treat people holistically in the sense that we want to get people long-term results. And if you want, again, I was using music analogy, if you want something long-term to really be beneficial, let me back that up. I'm using music as anything worthwhile having does not come easily.
Yeah.
It does not come quickly. It comes with intention and consistency. So if I can guide people towards intentional work and being consistent with it, we get a lot better results.
Yeah.
And I find that the healthcare industry is not like that, where they say, take this pill, you'll feel better. Do this stretch, get this massage, you'll feel better. It's kind of like, buy this cymbal, you'll play better.
Yeah.
Or like maybe use a different size drum stick. Now, maybe if you're playing jazz and you're using like a 5-beat, okay, but that's not the only problem. It's like we want to take a look at everything as a whole and then figure out, okay, what's the thing what's the lowest hanging fruit? And maybe it might not be your drumstick. Maybe it's like, oh, you need to learn how to play this feel a little bit better. And, there's only one way to do that is to consistent listening, consistent practicing. And I think the same thing with pain is sometimes people are like doing stretches or exercises, and it's like, again, like I'll use a jazz analogy. It's like you're trying to get better at jazz by practicing your blast beats.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with blast beats, nothing wrong with jazz, but sometimes those two aren't related. And having somebody guide you through that is really important. And I think we need more teachers in healthcare, because a lot of us as musicians had great teachers. Maybe not necessarily in school, but maybe someone on the band stand that took you under their wing and said, hey, let me show you a couple things and help guide you. And I think in healthcare there isn't people doing that. And so I really want to guide people like in a way that not just see someone be done, but like, let's take you through your journey.
Yeah.
Because I've been to a place where I, nearly lost my arm and couldn't play, and I had no one to take me through that journey, and I was scared. And so that's really my motivation behind it. Again, I could jabber on like a monkey in a tree about it.
Well, maybe we can talk more another time. But thank you so much for chatting.
Yeah, no problem at all.
All right, we're gonna try to get a few more people. All right, are we live? We're live. And I don't know if you want to look at me or the cameras.
Okay. I'll probably just look at you
Yeah,
because
that's cool.
you're more interesting than that.
So if you want to say your name.
My name is Brian Zach.
How long have you been in Nashville?
7 years.
All right, me too.
Pretty much on the dot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is special about Nashville?
A lot of special about Nashville. Gosh, are we talking music or just in general?
Both.
That's an interesting question. Musically speaking, Nashville, obviously country music is and has been the largest thing here.
Yeah.
And so that sort of permeates the entire scene, in my opinion. And things are here because of that.
Yeah.
The industry that is here is because of country music, first and foremost. Now, I think that's changing a bit. It certainly has blossomed into a lot of other things, pop music, different rock, genres and what have you. But so that's I guess part of what makes Nashville special, musically speaking. I think it's also special because we're sort of in the South, but not quite like the deep South, and there's a lot of other cities that are nearby that, you have Knoxville, you have Louisville, you have Atlanta, you have Memphis, you have all these other places, and they're all sort of feeding into Nashville, and different cultures, to food, whiskey, and so on and so forth. And there's just a lot of cool stuff happening here, just culturally. A lot of cool people, and I love it here. People are friendly.
Yeah. And that's come up with a number of people. And you've lived in a number of different places. You've been in New York and Las Vegas.
I lived in New York City for 6 years, and I lived in Vegas for 8 years before moving here. And so, I've kind of seen the industries in different places.
Yeah.
And kind of, I have a taste for that.
And you've done some gigs that have I know you've played a lot locally, but then you've also done some bigger gigs. Would you talk about some highlights?
Well, I'm currently touring with Tracy Lawrence, the country singer. He's got like 18 number one hits, just a massive country music star.
Yeah.
Huge following. We play arenas and sold out theaters.
What's this been like for you?
It's been awesome. I mean, it's just been fantastic. It's been, a learning experience. Just being on the bus and just seeing how it all works out, and getting to open for other bands like Brad Paisley and Jason Aldean, and just watching all this machinery, like all
the teams and the organization.
Yeah, just the whole, how it all comes together, and obviously meeting so many people and just rubbing shoulders with all these sometimes heroes of mine. It's been really awesome and eye-opening and humbling, and as well as, just from a playing standpoint, it's been a lot of fun because, you get to play for these big audiences, and they're there to see you, and they're not there to be on their phone or some crazy, distraction.
So all these people present at the same time.
Man, it's a great energy, and it's a lot of fun to perform for an audience like that. I just got off the road with Mannheim Steamroller, so I'm their new official drummer, touring for them. I'll be touring for them every year now.
So that works out schedule-wise to go do both.
So far, we're still working out the kinks in that, and it remains to be seen how it will exactly play out. But I'm hopeful that I can do both things without too much conflict.
Yeah.
Tracy's thing tends to ramp down around the Thanksgiving time, and that's about when the Mannheim thing picks up and begins. So hopefully they won't cross too much into each other.
But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. It's a ways out.
Yeah.
You know, we're in January, first week now. So yeah.
For sure. And so it sounds like when you joined Tracy Lawrence, it sounds like your skill set was already kind of to the point where it wasn't a stretch for you to take that.
Not so much. I mean, you know, it was challenging just in the fact that, you know, when I got the gig, I had probably about 22 or 25 songs to learn in a matter of 5 days.
Yeah.
And that was challenging because, you know, I wasn't really familiar with his music, I'll be perfectly honest, you know, so...
So was it like an audition sort of thing?
It was an audition. It was an invite audition, and you know, I was pretty floored when I got the gig. I nearly fell out of my chair when I read the text message. Hey man, the gig's yours if you want it. What? You know.
It's always probably good to like do your best, but then like okay, that's over. If it happens, it happens. You know, like.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you know, but like you said, I mean, my skill set was. I mean, I've been working on this for so long. It's just being able to chart a song. I use number charts because I feel like that's the most musical way to write out.
Yeah, you're hearing the chords go by.
Right, exactly. And so, you know, and then of course I write all my little, you know, you write down like the verse, and like what's the kick drum pattern on the verse, what's the kick drum pattern on the chorus, open hi-hat, close hi-hat, ride cymbal, whatever the little details are, I write all that stuff into my charts.
What's the sweet spot for you as far as too much or not enough information?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the music, but if we're just talking about like, you know, typical songwriting, like in the case of Tracy, where it's just, you know, country music, 90s country music. You know, I don't know the sweet spot. I don't know if there is a sweet spot. It's just I write down whatever information I feel like I need to write to have on stage with me, so that even if I don't know this song, I can count it off with authority and be confident and know exactly what to play, simultaneously using my ears to gauge what's happening and react.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I mean, I don't write anything that's unnecessary, you know? I mean, but at the same time, it's like, just make sure that you're covered, that you know, if there's a stop or there's a break or there's something weird that might happen in the music, that you notate that, you know? I mean, maybe there's a weird ending or something that's not on the record. Okay, let's refer to the live tapes and, you know, or just call the MD and be like, how does this thing end, you know? It's a fade out. What do we do, you know? And figure those things out and then make your notes, you know? And sure, I mean, there was some note taking on stage when, like, you know, you do a sound check and you write a song. Oh, we want to slow down a little more there at the end. Okay.
And you're playing. You mostly have a click as well.
Yeah, we're running click, but no tracks. So everything is played live, but we're running on click just for consistency of tempo.
Does everybody hear the click?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's their choice. If they didn't want to, I guess they could request that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think everybody except Tracy is hearing click.
Okay. So for a slowdown, you just cut it off.
Yeah, I have a foot pedal. Just cut off the
Yeah.
Which is really nice because you're just playing along. You just move your left foot, boom, you turn it off, turn it back on. You know, yeah, it's really convenient.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on those gigs.
Thank you.
And thanks for talking with me. I'm gonna end this broadcast, but I'd love to do like a more in-depth one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to be part of it.
Awesome. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me be here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Bye, everyone.